Imagine having Christmas on your terms. Seems like a pipe dream. I know. But a lot of couples that I speak to, either before or after Christmas, will say things like, I need a break. I need a holiday from my holiday. It's been very stressful. We've done nothing but visit people constantly. I've had all this time off work and I feel like I've not done a single thing for myself or a single thing for the relationship. I feel like we've not had any time together. And so you can plan your holiday so it doesn't have to be this stressful. So you don't have to pander to everybody else's wants, needs, and desires. And I will talk a bit more about that in depth in a moment. But we're going to go through 10 different ways, probably maybe a few more than 10, that you can actually minimize the stress, simplify your holidays, and have fun, celebrate it, but actually get what you want out of this Christmas time. So, number one is really to sit down and discuss what you want it to look like. I know that sounds simple and basic, but it's the step that almost every single person misses when it comes to Christmas. We just fill the calendar with everybody else's priorities, what people that want us to visit them, and all this stuff, and we just keep jamming it packed full. And there's no white space. And by the end, we're like, well, hang on, when are we going to celebrate? When are we going to hang out? When are we going to have some alone time or date nights? When are we going to do stuff as a family? And it becomes not available because there's no time in the calendar for it. So sit down, talk about what you want it to feel like, what activities you want to do. Basically, you can create a vision for your holidays and what you want it to look like, what you want it to feel like, what things are non-negotiable for both of you, things that you really, really want in there. Put them in the calendar first, prioritize them first, and then you're already well on your way to having the Christmas that you want. Number two is plan a gift-free or a minimalist Christmas. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't give gifts or have shared experiences or create beautiful things. You for sure can. And I'm all for gift giving. I love it. But if it is causing lots of financial stress or challenges, just talk about different ways that you can still do this and minimize it a little bit so it's not so big, so it's not so stressful, and so it's not such a big financial burden as well. Now, number three is set budget boundaries together. In the last episode, I actually go really deep in what you can do around your finances around Christmas, which is really important to mitigate a lot of stress. And yes, might I even say divorce and breakup around this time of year because it's quite a challenging time of year for a lot of couples. It brings up a lot of things that we've been not looking at all year. And all of a sudden they're right in our face because we're about to go spend time with family and friends. They can see what's going on for us. They can see whether we're connected. They can see when we've been fighting. So what's really important is to kind of address all this stuff before you get in those situations because they can get really messy really quick. So set budget boundaries together. What do you actually want the spending to look like over Christmas? What's necessary? What's not? What's extra? And talk to each other about it so you're on the same team. And again, go check out that episode where I dive really deep on that one. Share your traditions. So actually make this meaningful instead of it just being like a gift exchange or instead of it being just time off from work. What is something that's really meaningful to you that you could do together or you could do as a family? And what's meaningful to your partner? And make sure you have got both of those things in there because that makes it really special for each of you. Now, number five is giving back. How can you give back? Because when we look at it, Christmas is really the ultimate time to check in with one another, to give back to one another, maybe give some time to a charity or volunteer. It takes the focus off the materialistic things and puts the focus on others, which actually can make it way more rewarding than just focusing on the materialistic. Number seven, take a holiday baking day. Now, I know this sounds funny, but it's a way that you can do something a little different together or different with the kids and create memories for each other. It's cheap, it's fun. Yes, it's definitely messy, but it can be something different to make your holiday kind of stand out as well. So the next one is plan a Christmas movie marathon. So you can collect some of your favorite holiday movies and come together and watch them. Now, I'm sharing some really nice stuff. I'm about to get into the deeper nitty-gritty stuff of how to minimize Christmas stress in just one moment, so bear with me. You can actually, something for gift exchange that is a really, really nice idea that costs no money is actually writing each other a letter. I know it might sound really corny, but I promise you your partner won't think it is. If you talk about how grateful you are for them, for what they've done this year, how much they mean to you, it can be one of the most memorable gifts that you could give and it costs you $0. Just a little bit of time and a little bit of thoughtfulness. I would highly recommend this one out of all of them is to do a couple's day out. So before you go into the holidays, schedule a date for you and your partner. Spend time where you can do something you both enjoy or go looking at the holiday lights, whatever it might be, and just spend time together. It is the ultimate opportunity to reconnect, have deeper conversations, and get back that spark if you feel it's missing. So take this time as an opportunity to connect, to be with one another. It is very, very important that you don't waste this time doing things you don't necessarily want to do. Now, kind of getting to some more nitty gritty specifics, the stuff that can cause a lot of couples, a lot of fights, and a lot of disagreements is things like who we're going to spend the holidays with, what's it going to look like, how's that going to work, all of that kind of stuff. This is why I recommend now, don't wait any longer, that you sit down now and you talk about what you both want it to look like, what the plans are going to be, what other people's expectations might be, but then bring it back to yourselves and go, right, well, what do we want from this? Just like when I spoke about in point number one, you must bring it back to what do we want for our family? What do we want for each other? And what do we want it to look like? So that doesn't mean that we don't spend time with family and friends. Of course we do. But it might mean that we do it one day less so we've got some downtime. It might mean that we just change it around to look a little different so it flows and you're not doing as much travel, right? It's really specific and dependent on what you both want. Some people love constant visiting and nonstop go, go, go. That's awesome. If that's for you, do that. But most of the times I find that couples get really resentful, annoyed, and pissed off and have a lot of arguments because they haven't clearly stated their expectations and what they wanted from the holidays. They have this great big picture in their mind of what it's going to look like, but the other person has no clue that that's what they're thinking. And then the other person on the flip side has this idea of what it's going to pan out and they're going to have relaxation time and all this, and then it never happens. And both people get really disheartened, frustrated, annoyed, tired, and stressed. And it leads to a lot of arguments and discord, to put it lightly, in their relationship. So you may really want to talk about what are the healthy boundaries you need over Christmas? What are the days going to look like? What are the nights going to look like? What are the standards and expectations around gifts and presents? What do we expect for food? What do we expect in terms of the budget? What do we expect in terms of gifting to one another? Because that can be another really big trigger. What do you both actually want it to look like? And just talk about it. You wouldn't believe the minimization of stress by having the conversation quick and early. Is it that simple? Yes, it can be that simple. Having that conversation can make a world of difference. And you do not have to have a stressful, crazy, full on Christmas. You can have a relaxed, loving, connected Christmas, still enjoy all of the fun, all of the magic, all of the family and friends, and remain connected as a couple, which is what I really want for you. And I want you to think when you're doing all this planning for Christmas with this one question in mind: how do we remain connected, relaxed, and happy throughout this period? Now, there might be small peaks, valleys, and troughs where, right, things spike, but in general, how do we remain connected, happy throughout this holiday period? I would love to know what are the top things you are doing from this episode. Comment below, share them with me, and choose one to go and action today. It is rapidly approaching and there's no time better than now. And if you are struggling with your holiday planning, if you are struggling with what it's going to look like, or boundaries with finances, in-laws, or family, all of the things that comes with Christmas, you can go and book a free 15-minute relationship reconnect call. We can sit down and hammer out your next best steps to move your relationship forward. So the link's below, and I look forward to talking to you soon. So now it is time for you to go and turn your relationship on.